They're already going out for Wraith wards on both sides here. They say, actually, we want coverage on both sides. Make sure we know what's going on. Mid King's going to stand right in mid and just hang out there. I like that pick for the Ahri, shutting down that dash in and really the gap closer as well. You see Rise against Ahri, against that Katarina. He's just really good if anybody wants to get in the middle of your team. LG just throwing out some pokes, getting some safe wards down, but it doesn't look like too heavy of an invasion, as everybody's quite spread. They may move to this bottom tri-bush to the 140 engage.
The fact that they're all together like this means two things. So one, as long as they can learn and land Charm, they're looking for a possible Wraith ward. It's a very common ward to put one right here, and with MYM sitting right here, if someone goes for it, they can land the skill shot, pick him off, get an easy first blood. And so you're noticing that instead, IEM are putting a safe ward down, actually their Explorer ward just right here, but they've got no vision over Wraiths. But the fact they're still together, unless he recalls, their top laner recalls very soon. I think there's 5 here. Yeah, there's the recall. They could still go for a late invade here.
So on this, more than not, we have seen lane swaps. It's going to be Jace actually going top, so it's going to be up to IEM to do that if they wish, and the 80 carry is already poised to enter the bottom lane after helping with blue. So we're actually going to have one of our real first just engagements of regular lanes here, top, mid, and bottom. And looks like MYM will go for that late invade.
All right, so both teams explore what's timing out and looking for it, but Lasha's going to see them coming. Now it's going to be a numbers game, so it's going to be a 3-on-4 here.
Oh, just missing that, but it's going to be Lasha stuck in the first blood, coming out for Mackler. That was perfect for them.
And another great follow-up. They dropped the pink ward down in that brush to make sure they're not getting spotted. Look at that. He won't even have to use Smite because he knows Ring Troll is not here. That was actually amazing on so many levels. I mean, great initiation there, landing every one of their abilities. They're even going to leave the Lizard up to delay the spawn, and that's going to just be a world of hurt here. It's going to be a very late second blue coming out for LG, IEM I should say, and Rise is not going to like that.
Meet Your Makers trying to push Paragon as much as they can, knowing they're down, or knowing the Paragon is down right now. They want to press the advantage as soon as possible. Mumu coming into middle on Rise, but Mid King will see that for the early gank, knowing he's coming out of his jungle and play it safe.
Yeah, so Mumu mostly going to look for farm right here, going actually towards his own blue buff right away, which I like because here comes Ring right across the side. Now this has still been warded, and thing is, Mummy, he's actually going to go in. He doesn't know that Ring is here. He doesn't know he's right on the back. Now, Mummy has Smite and Lee Sin does not, but the problem is he's going to show up too soon. Here comes the fight.
And he's going to get Tempest down. That's a Mumu being slowed. He could force the flash on this one, but will he be able to get to the wall in time? The potion's going to keep him pretty healthy from these hits. He will get help from Kuban there.
Yeah, he gets Kuban down there. Kuban's going to keep him safe. Ahri didn't actually move around. The difficulty is that this ward's going to time out and Ring still has map control. And so the problem is Mummy is going to have to recall back. This is so unsafe of him. Ward's going to time out. He doesn't know where Ring is.
He forces himself to stay, trying to hit those potions on. Could he be calling for help from middle? Middle's lane is pushed, so they will not be able to do that. Makate. He finds him there. Makate going back in, goes for the Bandit Shot stun, but he still had the Q on. Goes for the gap closer, now forced for the flash, but he does get the blue buff. Or he does have a blue buff still.
Well, yeah, he got the blue buff steal, but the problem is that now you've got, at best, a 2-on-2. Ahri finally coming over.
Oh, Kuban getting caught out a little too early, but Ring could go down in the end of this fight. She could throw that orb over the wall. Looks like they're going to back off without the blue here.
Ring's too low now. They know Ahri can pick something up. Mid King doesn't have mana. They don't have an easy way of taking that buff down. Right. So Charo's going to have, you know, his mid lane back to himself. Pretty equal minion kills there. But Ring making all the right moves, and I'm just surprised. Mim did not reply to that at all. Kuban went over, but Charo did not. Honestly, they just had to send Ahri mid lane, have him shove the wave, and just camp that golem buff to allow him to get that. I mean, I just think that was a huge mistake by Meet Your Makers.
Again, we see a lot of Jaces going for those mana pots in lane so they can spam the Qs, keep that wave clear down. Ahri pushing in mid as well. Like you said, Ryan's having a few mana problems, and they still don't know that that blue buff was not reset. The small golem still stands. They're going to have a hard time coming back onto that one. Blue buff hasn't even worn off of a Mumu yet. That's going to be quite soon, but he may get a lane gank out of this as it's already pushed the turret. The 2-on-2, though, kind of says they may not do it.
Yeah, right now, though, they're pretty much just happy to sit in the lanes. Generally speaking, a Mumu jungles faster and wants to sit in the jungle longer than Lee Sin. It's really up to Lee Sin to actually make moves, look for invades, and that's what you saw early on. He went very aggressively and made a lot of things happen. But Mummy's going to get a lot of gold if nothing really happens here. He's going to want to get level 6 really, really fast. He needs that more than Lee Sin does. So this sort of passive early game is much better for Meet Your Makers.
Looks like bottom lane backs. We'll see the items coming in for both AD carries. They are playing the Doran's Blade and Spell Vamp runes in this lane, which means what, Freak? Where does this come from, and why do they do it?
Well, it's really, really good. So you see right here, not so much for Misfortune. I'm going to check out Ezreal real quick. Yeah, so Ezreal, no, he has a Vampiric Scepter. None of them actually ran Lifesteal runes. So just, you know, the standard thing is still to go open up Doran's Blade. They've been able to sit far enough back that they're just, you know, they're defensive enough that the 5 life on hit is all they need to survive in lane. Instead of going for those 3 health potions with Boots of Speed or the 2 health potion with the longsword, they can sustain with just the Dorans, and that allows them to, you know, not waste money on consumables, save up until they get the Vampiric Scepter, as Ezreal did, and then they have all the sustain they need.
We may even see Cutie Pie come back with the 3 Dorans in Season 3.
That's a possibility. Hey, Black Thief already came back, so he's already on his way.
A lot of things came back, and it looks like Ari will be returning to mid as well. Going ahead and clear this wave. She's getting a little bit of roam on as Jace was grabbing some pressure top from Lilac. Both pretty even here, 34 to 31 on the mid CS. That creep score is quite level. 1 kill, however, to Rise with 1 assist to Zaru. I should say mid king, that is. 46, however, for the 80 carries in the bottom lane. So that Zyra is getting a little bit more poke harass down. However, the sustain is keeping Paragon there, so he won't be too bad.
I'm actually surprised by how well Meet Your Makers did in the bottom lane. I typically consider Sona just a lane that tends to win against Zyra due to having fairly equal poke and better sustain, and that power chord being able to one-shot plants is just such a useful trait to have. But Meet Your Makers have done a very good job with this. They're still up 1 item because of that first blood gold. It's allowing him to be... he's kind of actually matched the Sona sustain here because he's got the Doran's Blade and the Vampiric Scepter, which is a really good place for him to be. Ooh, and they caught Paragon.
Paragon caught out right next to the turret. A beautiful arcane shift keeps him just out of range of turret aggro as he gets a little bit more free damage down. And really, Libic doing a great job of making them focus him. Look at Mackler's full health after that. And
then they had to actually run away right here because Charo hit level 6 and ran bottom immediately. And you just saw LGM. He's like, well, oh, that's a level 6 Ari piece. And they immediately backed up.
Rise was making moves too.
Yeah, well, and of course you must. You have to counter gank when your sort of lane opponent goes to gank your side lane. You've got to show up as well. Now, the gameplay here is that Ari has blue buff and is almost level 7, and she got some fast ability power. So Charo has really, really good wave clear and can shove Mid King up to his turret. So he's going to have this window where he can go to the side lane, and Mid King has to say, I either lose minion kills or I don't counter gank. And both those are bad things.
Yeah, exactly. Mid taking a little bit of pressure here. We do see that Ring is still on the top side of Rise, but Amumu has back, so if there's any ganks to happen now, it is going to be in favor of LGIM with that numbers up. 9,900 golds, pretty much even at 10K. Just hit 10K for both teams here, 8 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. A great pressure on that bottom lane still as they continue to go on this turret. They're really just trying to deny CS. They haven't gotten too much turret damage at all.
You don't really get a lot of turret damage in a 2-on-2 lane because it's just so easy to get counter engaged. If you actually sit there attacking the turret, you're in turret range. So if they go on you, you can't counterattack. Otherwise, you're fighting basically a 2-on-4. That turret is going to do so much damage. So they kind of are trying to shove to the turret, deal some damage, and then hope that Paragon misses last hits underneath the turret, which is what's been happening so far. You can see that those numbers slightly growing because he's missing a little bit of CS under the turret.
We'll go ahead and look at the junglers right now. They did find that the blue went down, so that could be coming up not soon for them, but there won't be a timer for Meet Your Makers, and that's what we saw in the Millennium game as well. When they didn't pressure the blue over and over, it kind of cost them a little bit. So with that aggression in the early game, it kind of means nothing now.
Yeah, you're having kind of a equal gold game. You're seeing this bottom lane still work extremely well for them. But the blue invade, I think, is still paying dividends because you still don't have Rise with a golem buff yet, and that's actually a really big point here. But it should be coming out fairly soonish, and then it'll start balancing out. As far as top lane is concerned, right, they're equal. Mid lane, as far as farm is considered, Rise actually winning, which is just impressive.
Yeah, he's stacking that mana. Also, the Catalyst helping them to sustain in lane. He's like, yeah, I didn't get my blue buff, so every time I level, I'll regen that mana for myself. 85 CS right now goes to Mackler. He is in the highest of the game. Let's see how much gold he has for himself. It's still cheap right there. Oh my gosh, top lane. Fast kill coming up there.
Nice job by Kuban there. Sorry for missing most of that fight, but the all-in power from Jace, and I'm amazed too because he just went Tear of the Goddess Doran's Blade and had the damage output to do it. So excellent play by him. Great burst damage, of course, is one of the hallmarks of Jace, and that worked quite nicely.
Looks like he actually may be going for the Muramana as well.
Oh, here comes the counter gank, or the gank in the bottom lane.
Ari and a Mumu slowly creeping in. There's the Spirit Rush. They're able to get some good damage in. Lasha throws the ultimate out but dies quickly after. Paragon's going to follow. He flashes, but he will go down. One last auto attack before taking his last breath.
Yeah, but still, it's a 2-for-1, and they've got 3 members to hit this turret. But the problem is, Mid King is coming from mid, and they haven't reacted to this. He could get all 3 kills here.
He is going to wait for Lilac to get closer. Lilac's ultimate is up, throws it down perfectly vertical on the fight. There's one, he dodges the grasping root. There's 2, looking for the triple kill. Will it be given by Lilac? It is a flash from Okate, the flash back in, the room prison, and he actually takes it with a flame spitter.
Excellent fight right there. And now LGIM has numbers advantage. This dragon is theirs.
Very aggressive play there, well timed. That turret had been pushed bottom for quite some time. They had set Paragon and Lasha up for that for a good 20 seconds. It was executed perfectly.
And that was just so impressive too, because Lilac had just respawned after dying top lane and said, hey, they're overextended bottom. We need to try to keep this turret alive. Wait, guys, we can get kills. And yeah, okay, he let Kuban sit there at the top lane. You're going to see him grow a minion lead, get some damage on the turret. But that turret's still alive and Lilac's here. So, I mean, that was absolutely the right call here for Lilac.
Still trying to put some damage on. You can see that shock blast through the acceleration gate, pretty much shredding him as he gets a few more attacks down for free. Just trying to keep the aggression on. Looks like Ring is going to be clearing out his jungle. We're 12 minutes into this one. Absolutely neck and neck. There's about 1K gold and 1 kill separates these 2 teams. Nobody's really found the objectives. This is one of the maps, or one of the matches, the second game of the day here, and our second matchup of this series has been really slow for these structures.
Yeah, they've really not been able to aggress well. Normally you see turrets go down quickly in 2-on-1 setups because you've just got so much pressure in that lane, it's completely available. In 1-on-1s and 2-on-2s, it's much less likely, and the only time you see turrets go down is when you get a successful gank and you just go for it, as you know we saw earlier right up here. But the problem was the counter gank showed up and they got a triple kill for it, so there have not been any opportunities to take turrets down. There's not been room for it.
A good amount of vision coming out for LGIM right now. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wards across the map. 7 in the Tribush as Zyra moves off of that one. And they are ready. Those are aggressive wards as well. They're also guarding Tribush because Rumble has to push up against this Jace, and he knows that 1v1 is bad. So LGIM setting themselves up for an advantage point here. Kind of meet your makers, really defeat this ward setup they have going on.
Oh, I missed it. Sorry. Paragon going down at the bottom lane. Complete whiff on my part, but that bottom lane aggression, just so much damage coming out. Zyra using Ignite and her ultimate to make that one happen.
Lasha very hurt. The ultimate goes down up top on Jace as well. Kuban finds himself falling, and it looks like the bottom lane is going to back after not being able to attack.
So this is going to be interesting because you're basically seeing very opposed lanes here. For Incredible Miracle, basically Rumble is winning by a whole heck of a lot. He's got a lot of gold, but here comes Charu.
Oh, that ward will let him know something's going on. I like the dodge there by Lilac. Double dodge coming in, and he gets himself out happily.
That was excellent play by him. Dodging the charm and turning around, dodging the bandage toss with the flash. Still, without flash is a hard place to be, but that said, Charu did use teleport to make that happen in the first place, so gotta say, a worthwhile trade.
Rise pushing up in mid, knowing they were there. He's biding a little bit of time here. He's saying, it takes about 10 seconds to walk down here. As he starts creeping down to the bottom side of the turret, he's giving himself an escape. Just easily walks out of this. No, he didn't see a Mumu coming. Throws down on a Mumu, knowing the Ari ult is down. They don't have to worry about that. Great mental gameplay from Mid King.
And so much damage coming out from him and from Ring right there. I don't think a Mumu was ready to get one shot there, but it absolutely did just happen. So good sort of patience to not panic, say, yeah, they're coming for me, but wait a second. I can get this one. Really, really nice by him.
And I guess actually Ari had her ult for that. My mistake. So
yeah,
they just had so much power going into the fight. And Lilac, again, just pushing Kuban out of lane. It was like that one time he was able to get the kill, but not anymore. He's going to go after it. The double burn going on.
That was excellent. And Lilac, like I said, he is winning this lane by a whole heck of a lot. The 2 assists and kill that he got from the bottom lane a while ago, it's put him up 4,700 to 3,900 in gold, and he's using that to just get farther and farther and farther ahead. Despite dying in that 1v1 a while back, he's ahead.
At 15 minutes, Baron has just joined us on Summoner's Rift, but will not be an objective for a good 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how these teams play. Still very slow. We may see our first turret here finally. Probably one of the latest turrets we've seen. These games are giving us a lot of firsts. 8-5 in kills. The gold lead is starting to separate, and we're going to see that happen a little bit more right now.
And there we go, the aggression going up, doing some good damage to Sona. This turret's going to be there, so again, you're seeing these top and bottom lanes be equal but opposite. The laws of thermodynamics work even in League of Legends. Rumble winning up top, and Ezreal and Zyra winning at the bottom, trading turrets at the same time. Ooh, good flash from Paragon, he needed to.
The top lane getting aggressed on as well, as Kuban didn't take any damage, but we can see bottom lane now farming freely. It is going to be 136 to 107, so keeping them at the turret has definitely hurt Paragon a little bit. He's been down off the lane twice in those 2 kills to the 2-1 and 2 of Ezreal, who's just feeding himself right now. The Bloodthirster isn't even finished, and he actually is full stacked on it already.
And that's finally the Bloodthirster just coming up now for Paragon. He'll complete it in the base, but otherwise you got Berserker's Greaves and a Doran's Blade, which, sure, right now is the same as what Ezreal has, but he's also got 900 gold in the bank. And so that's going to be turning into something quite useful very soon. Paragon really like the Static Shiv. Mockler here, I can't read it just yet. It could be attack speed, it could be a fast Iceborne Gauntlet, could even be Last Whisper. We'll kind of see what he goes for.
It looks like LGIM slowing things down for a bit as Lee Sin grabs red. They have a few jungle camps to clear. He looks like he's going to guard this top turret as well. Both of these teams are kind of allowed to dictate the game right now. Jace pushes top, they push top on Rumble, they push Jace away. They can really formulate what's going on. Dragon should be coming up in a little bit here, I believe, as we check the timer on that. But Jace is backing, they could prepare for that.
And that's really interesting. So basically, turrets 1 for 1. And Meet Your Makers, they're kind of okay leaving top lane once in a while because it'll be very hard to take this turret down here down. So that's actually a lane where MYM is actually allowed to not hold jungle control over. They don't have to be quite as sort of paranoid about where Incredible Miracle is going. But the mid and bottom lane, those are the ones that are really important. That they've got to make sure they have someone at all times.
There's about 4 seconds before Dragon comes up. You have both Rumble and Lee Sin backing. There's Dragon right now. Jace has come down from the top lane after that last back. They're going to put pressure on Rise here, get themselves that Dragon after this push. This should be pretty easy, but they don't have vision on it right now. They are heading in that direction. Amumu grabs red, but there is some caution being played by the team. We heard that ping.
But that was absolutely perfect from Meet Your Makers, though. They pulled a lot of cooldowns to force Mid King out of the fight, getting him down to half health. They could have honestly just dove for the Dragon here and sort of relied on the fact that Rise might have been gone. Instead, though, they're just going to have to wait for the cooldowns to come back up. They're actually going to allow Rise's health to come back up. He just leveled up, I believe, so he is just healing from that catalyst, and that aggression just kind of became for nothing.
All right, so with Jace coming down, it looks like they're not going to try to grab Dragon right away. They may get this turret as they just push down under Charu. They don't know the rest of the team is there. Mukate actually could have engaged on that. It looked quite nice under the turret for him with Rise. Now Rise with his blue buff, we can see him doing the damage. He's picked up a few double kills for himself this game, or a double kill I should say, for himself this game. Almost a triple with Lilac coming in, getting the beautiful KS. And at 19 minutes, the aggression is now in and out of the laning phase, I should say, and right on these structures.
Yes, oh, good charm. They're not going to quite follow up, though. Ring is tanky. He's already finished his Warmogs 18 minutes in from the jungle. That's an impressive feat right there. But that early aggression from him, he got basically second blood for his team off of that. Picked up another kill for himself, and this is very, very good. MYM cannot go for Lee Sin. They don't have the damage to kill him off, and so Ring can be a gigantic troll, and it's going to be just difficult for Meet Your Makers.
This initiation is going to be Lilac. If it happens, you can see him charging his steam there. What does he have? What is that?
It's fire. He's got pineapples.
It's not him in his yellow bar, but they do engage. There's the equalizer that they were looking for, and it's going to be a 2-for-1 right now. Lee Sin actually falls, 3 going down for LGIM, and under the turret may not have been the best bet for them. A final Q from Machine Gun Rise gives Mid King a kill.
Wow. Get hit. Oh, he gets it. Nice move from Kuban. Heat, by the way, is the Rumble resource.
Yeah.
But Mid King, I think he's stronger. Nope, no longer stronger than Kuban right here. Kuban with some good poke. Has the mana. He can get one shot by Rise is the problem, though. So that cannon minion living was what allowed Rise to pick up that turret kill.
Yes, indeed. It looks like he backs off there, and he got 3 kills out of that. Very nice from Mid King. Double buff now sported on him. Top lane is pushing very well. So now it is dictated by LGIM. I said it was back and forth before. We saw how that fight happened. These Lilac equalizers are becoming, or I should say Rumble equalizers are becoming so much more impactful that he's not just building health and Warmogs and tank.
Yes, and I really like that Rumble build. Yes, Lilac did die in that last fight, but I really like the damage-oriented Rumble builds. I think they just have more impact. because honestly, if you know how to play Rumble well, you can position rather safely. You can put yourself in good situations where you're not getting taken down first. You get to get a full Flame Spitter down, and getting a full Flame Spitter when you've built ability power is, in a lot of cases, better than 2 Flame Spitters with a tank build, or even more. So positioning well, building ability power, really, really good when you've got a tank on your roster. And, well, they've got Ring, who's doing amazingly, and Mid King on Rise, who's doing amazingly. So they've got the tanks, go for the damage.
Just passing 20 minutes into the game. Looks like Jace will be backing. How much gold does he have? 1,500, just about 1,600 gold. He actually decides to stay here. Unsure why. He would scale very well with his next item depending on what he decides to buy. I don't think it's going to be those boots. Finish out into that marijuana soon enough.
And instead, what you're seeing here is basically the teams squaring back off all across the map. They've kind of reset the entire game. You've got 2 turrets to 1. You've got pretty equal champion kills, pretty equal gold. And, you know, these guys are basically in a situation where they're taking pause because that wasn't even intentional. That wasn't even on purpose when that came out. I am horrible. But basically, you've seen these fights now go back and forth. And both these teams have to realize, you know, for LGIM, we talked about it in the pregame, where they'd bring dishonor to Korea if they lost another game in this tournament. They're up 1-0 in this series. They're looking at 2-0 and go into the final. And they know, you know, they just won the first game, though it was very, very close. They know that Meet Your Makers can come from behind. They don't want to make any major mistakes. So they're going to be a little bit more reserved and kind of close this game out, because I think they have everything they need to win the game. They just have to play it properly. On the other side, Meet Your Makers realizes that they need to look for catches. If they go into 5-on-5 siege combat, that's kind of in Incredible Miracle's favor. That these 5-on-5 siege combats do not really work well for Ahri. They don't work amazingly for Ezreal. Yeah, they've got some poke there. Yeah, they can 5-on-5 all right. But fighting Rumble, Rise, and Misfortune and Sona together, that is an area of effect comp of Doom. Generally speaking, Meet Your Makers, you know, team comp can team fight, but not like Incredible Miracle's team can. So Meet Your Makers is trying to spread the game out, get people to 1v1 in lanes, and find those roam kills again.
See, that thing, I feel they have the equalizer right now, but I feel like it's almost more impactful than what we're seeing from Makate's Curse of the Sad Mummy, which is usually one of the best crowd controls you have. We saw Snoopy pick it as his favorite champion because you can make game-changing fights happen right away. But the way Lilac is playing, placing those equalizers down, much cleaner, vertical on vertical fights instead of horizontal for the easy walkout on the team. It just allows Ring King to jump in, do what he does best, and really cause aggro for the other team. He kind of gives himself a global hatred as he dives in. Everybody just wants to kill him.
Yes, and that's partially due to his build and partially due to how well he's doing. He's one of the most fit members on that team, 7,000 gold, second place only behind Rise, who, let's be fair, is the most farm guy in this game by a heck of a lot, and he's building offense. So Lilac puts out incredible damage output throughout fights with Flame Spitter, with Overheat when he goes for it, with just his significant magic penetration build, Sorcerer Shoes haunting guys, nearly an Abyssal Scepter at this point. The guy is scary, so yes, he's going to pull a lot of aggro from Meet Your Makers, which lets Rise, Mid King, and Paragon of Misfortune just kill things over and over and over. So Lilac is, you know, he's half tanky because he's got levels, he's got some health, some MR, but you can kind of see from these players' faces, you know, they're ready to go. You know, they're looking intense. They want to get this game underway. And to me, Incredible Miracle, they have the team comp, the players, and the play style to kind of do what it takes.
When we see Mid King waiting for an earbud change, just had a bit of a sound effect there that he wanted to get out, so they're bringing him a new pair. And it becomes scary. 6-0 and 3 Rise. And yeah, it's scary when you can finish items and get a huge advancement, but he's piecing items together, knowing his damage now and for the next 5 minutes isn't going to need a next item upgrade. He can piece together all the items he wants and be tanky for everybody on the other team, which is not what you want to put a Rise in at that position.
No, and with Rise doing so well, it's just like, good luck killing him anyway.
Exactly.
You know, he opened Rod of Ages, he got the Tear of the Goddess, but he's letting that charge itself, and then he went Glacial Shroud, he got the Negatron Cloak, he went tanky, so not only is he farmed and putting out good damage, but he's not even going to go down easily. You've seen MYM twice now try to engage him, jump in with Charm, jump in with Curse of the Sad Mummy, and he turns it back around on them, makes them burn a flash or picks up a kill, and just withstands it. Now you can see from the players' faces, Lilac Point just kind of yelling out commands. The game is back underway, guys. Let's get this going on.
Looking around, taking stock again at 21 minutes here. 12 to 9, 32,000 to 28,000. The gap has been bigger. It's only $4,000 that Meet Your Makers has to work themselves back in. And it's not the case of the fight going in their favor this time, so they have to be careful. These engagements are definitely stronger for LGIM right now. The gold says it, the kills say it, and the turrets say it. I think it's the first time we've had that.
In quite a while, yeah, they're actually winning by all fronts in a close game. Normally we have like, well, it's 12 minutes in and the team's basically lost, and it's because they have 7 turrets and 17 kills and 7 million gold. This time they're winning, but not by a whole heck of a lot.
Setting up again in mid. Like you're saying, they just keep squaring off, resetting the map, going to the lanes, and simply pushing them. Nobody's really gaining a huge advantage out of this. They're waiting for that full item fight. Nobody wants to go in right now, especially not Meet Your Makers. LGIM is kind of sitting in the position where they know they're up, and they want the Rune Prison take on one person and then to engage the fight.
Yes, and that's kind of where it comes from. They don't have the easiest engage. Actually, Incredible Miracle, compared to last game where they had Leona to key off of,
right,
it's a little bit more difficult for them to pick fights. Unless they find an open field where they can do an equalizer and then Lee Sin can catch up and eventually, you know, Mid King shows up for Rune Prison, they don't have that same sort of catch potential. So it'll be interesting to see what Incredible Miracle goes for, because while they're better team fighters, without Dragon up and without enough of a lead to go for Baron, they can't easily stretch this lead.
Abyssal Scepter now finished on to Rumble. 127 minion score, that creep score for him. 4, 2, and 5. Did pretty well against Jace top lane. He is down in CS, but those kills have just let him itemize against Jace. We saw Jace taking him out once in the beginning. Kuban was able to get a kill for himself. It happened so quickly we missed it, but then it just seemed like Lilac understood how to mitigate that damage. He didn't even actually build any armor or really that much health. He just kind of went for a little bit of resistance and stayed away from Kuban. He played the lane smart, didn't force himself into anything. Yeah,
exactly. Right after Sorcerer Shoes, he picked up a fast cloth armor, and he had that cloth armor when he died the first time, to be fair.
Yeah.
And that was it. He just went for hunting guys afterwards, and then it was like, well, I'm winning anyway, screw it, like, let's just keep going Magic Pen, and of course it worked beautifully for him. Now, the interesting thing for me, though, is Mid King, despite having built fairly defensively, has gone Manabune to go for Muramana, which is the more offensive version compared to going for Archangels. So he's looking to be a huge damage source and not actually that huge of a tank overall.
Great job by Mackler to get out of that one, but here comes Rise on the bottom side. A great cleanse saves Mackler. Zaru now getting caught up with the exhaust and right in the bullet time ultimate. Mackler, a tick of health left. He stays alive. Here comes Lilac from the top side to pick up a kill for himself. And a lot of just positional domination from LGIM there.
And there they go. They found that kill. They found a battle where they could get in behind the opposition, lock them up. Despite not having long-range initiation tools, they got behind the team and surrounded them. You can see a lot of ward coverage in the jungle for them right above this. Very, very well orchestrated fight by Incredible Miracle.
3 for 0 is the way that one goes, and that's not what you want to see. 25 minutes into the game, these guys are getting enough items to continue and go into that Baron Den. And it looks like the Muramana has been finished for Rise. That is going to be quite painful for Meet Your Makers coming out here. And they're still building damage. They haven't even had the chance to start mitigating this.
No, not at all. And that's going to be the difficulty here, is that you've got Makate just is not that tanky. He's looking at what I believe is an Aegis of the Legion next. But normally we saw from, you know, just like from guys like Ring on Lee Sin, they rush the Warmog's armor. They go for that 1,000 health to tank out the enemy line. And Makate, his build doesn't have nearly that. He's got 500 on Spirit of the Ancient Golem. He's got a Ruby Crystal, which, yeah, will eventually turn into Aegis, but that's not nearly the tank stats we've got on Lee Sin, and that's difficult. They need some guy to run in there and be a frontline tank, draw the first 2 seconds of Rise's cooldowns, and not die for it. Instead, Mid King says, great, that's nice, you rooted me in place, now you're dead, let's continue on 5v4.
Oh, Zaru getting caught out on top. He goes for the charm. And he's going to be forced to use that Spirit Rush to get out. Lilac doing a great job of just forcing him out of that top lane, continuing to CS and push. And I got to say, if these guys meet in the jungle, it is so going to be in favor of Meet Your Makers. Having Ahri, having a Mumu to be able to just close people off, Zyra ultimate. So maybe Meet Your Makers wants to start taking these fights to the objectives.
I don't actually agree with fighting in the jungle, because they're going to be in confined locations where Rumble, Sona, and Misfortune all shine.
Sure.
They actually want to... Oh, jeez. Rumble did not steal, I don't think. He did not. No, that did go to Jace. But they're actually looking for things maybe more in the lanes. They want to look for surrounds. The way to beat an area of effect team is to get around them, to get in weird locations where you can't put everything together. If they could collapse on a Dragon from multiple locations, that's the kind of fight they want. So objectives, sure. For something like Dragon, absolutely. Lizard and Golem, not quite so much for them.
Right on. We'll have to see as they come into the fight. That's a good take on how it could happen. 15-9 at 26 minutes, and now a lot of aggression going on to this middle turret. It's going to be a 5-on-5. Everybody has their foot in this one, and they are taking part in a little bit of the poke back and forth. MYM coming out on top with just a tad bit of damage on the turret as they dodge very well on those skill shots. And it's just kind of a stalemate here, waiting for the next wave. I think this will happen for a few waves until somebody could really get caught out or somebody want to make some move.
As long as Meet Your Makers is very diligent here and doesn't make any mistakes, they have the exact right team to play this type of fight. Sure, they're down about 5,000 gold, and that kind of matters, but they've got a blue buff Jace, they've got Ezreal, they've got Zyra, they've got just a lot of damage, and look at that.
Wow, they have actually just wasted a lot as well. The bullet time goes down. Lee Sin tried to get in there to help his team engage, but Mackler making moves really quick, got out of any sort of pull-around dragon kick into the turret. 7-4 in turrets altogether. And they're trying to hold this mid one so they don't lose that upper hand.
And this is going to be good for Meet Your Makers. They got Lilac very, very low. He's got Equalizer back up, but that's his only real major tool. The difficulty, though, is that Zyra used her ultimate. That's their major counter engage. And if she doesn't have that, it's going to be hard to get out.
There's the Rumble ultimate. They are going to be able to come out on this one. Focusing Makate down. Lilac finds himself taking damage. Orb of Deception. He does get the last Foxfire down. Zaru picking up the kill. MF takes down Kuban, and they are now being chased out of the fight all the way in the open under the turret. Was not a good idea for MYM.
Man, that was harsh right there. Kuban got caught, and I don't even know how, because there was not flash used from Ryze. Sono's ult did not go for him. Kuban just got found by a rune prison. The other 1-for-1 right there, I understand. Lilac went up in there, got caught out by a good amount of crowd control, and dropped down. And an amazing, amazing kick from Ring actually knocked Ezreal into a Mumu, knocking him into the air and allowing him to pick up that kill. So some good moves picked up the 1-for-1, but Kuban I don't think should have gone down there.
So Freak, it actually took one wave for LG to find what they wanted. A good equalizer started it off as they saw Libic miss a few skills. That's really all it takes. A quick initiation in the 5 seconds of a cooldown. LG IEM now backing. Going to get some more items. The Black Cleaver for Misfortune and the Red Elixir as well to put on a little extra pain when that happens.
And now we're going to see what Meet Your Makers can do about this, because they've actually been having these fights kind of go the same way over and over. They've got a very good poke team. They've got good long-range tools, some good damage on the Ring. Of course, he's still got Warmogs, who doesn't care all that much. And look at that, he's just fine. The Meet Your Makers kind of has to play this siege game, this 5-on-5. But I don't know how they win that battle when, you know, you just keep seeing Equalizer go down, and Incredible Miracle just kind of wills the fight to start.
It's going to be a combination of Acceleration Gate and that Frozen Fist, or Iceborne Gauntlet kiting, because they can't engage on these fights fully. We just saw what happened. They weren't really under the turret. I think maybe a few turret shots were taken, and ultimately we still see 91 CS, 0-5 and 6 on Mukate. That hurts a lot for your tank.
He is having a very rough game right here. Amumu is probably the most item-dependent of tanks here, because he has no, like, innate defense stats. He's not like Rammus or Alistair, where when push comes to shove, at least you can press a button and gate some armor and magic or something. He just got to buy items to do that. He's got the Philosopher's Stone to try to earn him some gold. That's nice and all. He's getting himself, you know, in better shape here to buy some items, but he's still behind the curve in tankiness, and that is rough for him.
Ryze now picking up a Warmogs, part of 13 of the 17 kills that his team has right now, and that's absolutely amazing because he still hasn't gone down. Now he becomes somebody they can't focus in the fight. He still has the Frozen Heart yet to build. He's just kind of, like I said, itemizing the way he wants because his damage is so on par right now.
It's a very intelligent build. He's really interwoven very successfully both damage and durability. If we actually focus on Mid King right now, he's got 3,300 mana, and that's going to allow his Overload to hit for plus 215. So just counting base stats, he's hitting for about 416 damage with every Overload. Muramana adding even more, 198.
And we're going to see that right now as he turns it on almost half of health of Zaru, and they need to stay away from that from now on.
Yeah, good luck staying away from Ryze and the team that is running around. That's the second time we've seen LGIM be able to collapse and surround on a kill. This is a very good Baron attempt for them. I don't see this, except for a steal, I don't know what MYM can do about this.
Mukate would go down so fast, but the bandage toss will give him the gap closing time he needs. The toss goes in. They're not able to get it. MF picks it up after the smite. A nice equalizer to slow Mukate in there and keep MYM out of the rest of the fight.
All right, there they go. And the thing is, his smite was available. He just could not quite click it in time. Did not quite react to that Baron dropping in health. But now with 2 dead, you're going to chase on a Libic. Libic, good dodge there on the Lee Sin. But he is running. He's got boots of mobility action. He can outrun LGIM right here. Kuban, though, gets found. Paragon lurking through the jungle, finding the kill right there. That was good for him.
Very good push by LGIM here. Rai is putting a lot of effort into Libic right now, and Libic just going to pull a Mac Noon and make his way out.
He's going to keep trying. Mid King might be losing interest. It's going to depend because, oh, Libic can go for the execute, and Mid King will not find him there. He's probably going to check this brush and then realize, yeah, there we go. Libic going for the execute. He should make it out.
Rise is backing. That takes 8 seconds still. Libic's more than happy to just hang out. Trying to get a CS before he goes down. Oh, unfortunate. This mid lane being pushed. However, though, that execute happens. Now going to be a 3v3 in mid as the inhibitor turret goes down and Mumu initiates. And that's a quick out for Ring.
Yeah, Ring picking up Mercury Treads is very important for him. He realized that there's a lot of physical damage on the other team with Jace and Ezreal there. But instead of going into Tabby, he realizes that he's mostly going to die if he gets caught, more so than persistent attacks from Ezreal. So it goes for the Mercury Treads, allows himself to kind of say, yeah, maybe you hit me, but I'm going to W away and get myself out there. Ring playing a phenomenal game, 1-1-10. He's just wreaking havoc throughout this game.
So we see LGIM Freak in a very familiar spot, quite ahead in the game. Will they falter this time? I think with how powerful Mid King is right now at 8-0-7, that's going to be very hard, but we've seen it before.
We have seen crazy things happen before, absolutely. But right now, Incredible Miracle are doing a very good job of hedging their bets. Because Mid King, right, crazy, crazy powerful, puts out a lot of damage, actually quite tanky as well. Averaging about 100 armor and magic resist, 3,700 health, still has items to complete.
Kuban top lane finds Paragon, the ultimate to finish him.
Ouch. And yeah, you're seeing the AD carry able to solo the top laner with no worries whatsoever. So Mid King very, very durable. Paragon, though he only has 2 offensive items, also has a Quicksilver Sash, which is the only way he goes down really either is getting caught out. Paragon's going to find someone else to kill, and Mid King from the side as well.
Mackler giving some pressure to Ring here.
Lifesteal.
Wow.
Yep, Paragon gets all that.
Uses the cleanse to make it out fully. You can hear the crowd absolutely loving it right now. LGIM playing very well and dominant in this game. They are up 9,000 gold right now, 6-3 in turrets, and they are pressuring that factor in mid now as the turrets are all the way down to the inhibitor. Curse of the Sad Mummy just to keep himself alive. And the equalizer wasted as well, so a few ultimates for either. Overdrive also our desperate power rather used for Rise, the Rune Prison! Oh, he tries to cleanse it, loses the summoner spell and his life.
Beautiful job right there. They've now got control over the inhibitor. They've got at least 20 seconds of, well, with 2 up top, 20 seconds of a 5-on-3 right here. And they're going to just collapse for this top inhibitor turret. Lilac could honestly tank it if he wanted to. He's got durability. And there they go, in on this turret. This is going to be theirs as well.
This is a big 5-on-3 power play for them. They know they are confident in their positioning. Mukate does not have his ultimate. He had to use it defensively to get out last time. Zyra's ultimate is down. They have no area of effect here. Trying to charm out Rumble, and they really can't get too much damage down. The ultimate shredding armor. Black Cleaver doing so much. They're able to turn one down onto Jace. Mukate, no Rune Prison to lock him up, but now they're forced in the base. We've heard the care ping going in towards LGIM, but they stay free.
All right, and there we go, the charm up on a Lilac. Problem is, they're still fighting 4-on-5 over and over and over again. Mockler finally back in the game, has decent items for himself. Honestly, he actually out-damaged his Misfortune in just straight auto-attack trades because he's doing pretty well for himself. But you can't really say the rest, or say the same for the rest of his team there. Basically, all of Incredible Miracle are incredibly difficult to deal with, very damaging and or very tanky, oftentimes both. And now an Infinity Edge for Paragon? Well, everyone's just much stronger than their counterparts on the other side.
And still Mukate having a very rough game. He does have some of those assists coming in, so we see him finish the Bulwark. That's going to be big for his team, especially from that Rise, especially from that Rumble. 3 Warmogs stand in their way to 0 right now. That is painful.
That is very, very painful. Now, and the thing is, they don't even have a lick of percent health damage aside from the death by our grasp here on Charu, which will help them burst someone down, but they can't burst. Meet Your Makers would not win a burst fight. They wouldn't win an all-in 5-on-5 because they're fighting a 5-on-5 area of effect team. They've got to somehow string these battles out, somehow not die to Rise, which I don't even see being possible. He's actually picked up the Furor enchant just to give himself more move speed as he picks people down. Mid King's got everything to do here.
LGIM needs to push. They need to pressure. 3 players at 18 right now to the 116 of Charu. 16 is the closest behind that. So just in levels, just in scaling, those 3 Warmogs, you can put it into amount of abilities. It's going to have to be MYM cycling through their abilities at least 3 to 4 times in a fight to take someone down here. They're going to be pushing the bottom lane, Freak. They have so much momentum right now, and it looks like they are confident about another inhibitor turret.
And by all rights, this should be theirs. IEM looking for the pressure. They put some damage on Charo. Here they go.
And it's going to be right on Tajaro, as you said. A beautiful Zyra ultimate stops that, but the equalizer cuts them off from running to base. Jace forced to flash over, as well as Jaru. A last tick of the Ignite leaves him alive. Oh my gosh. Trying to come in for these. 2 go down, 3 go down. They are going to finalize this last inhibitor turret. A double kill, 11, 0, and 8 right now for Mid King.
That was beautiful right there. The turret is theirs. The great bounces from Rise picking the kill up in the backside. And Makler getting caught out. So much damage onto him. Tries to arcane shift away. He's not going to get 2. This game is going to IEM. Congratulations, 2-0. And they're going to be in the grand final.
A very strong finishing by IEM. They made sure there was no falter or backstep in this game. The GGs come out from Meet Your Makers. And we are going to see them facing off against Millennium in the upcoming matchup. Or Nexus. Sorry.